Hi guys, it's Perseus Hamilton. I haven't filmed in a while. I've really been wanting to get back on it. I have lots of ideas of stuff I can do. I apologize if there's like some machinery running in the background. That's probably the fridge. It's loud, I know. I don't know why it's so loud. It wasn't like this last time, but anyway, that's what that is if you're wondering. I'm going to try to put some creepy music to cover it up once we get into the story, but for now, you might have to deal with it. So I was thinking today we could read a story from Reddit NoSleep, which is one of the places I go to when I'm looking for a creepy read personally. This story is called I Think Amazon's Alexa is Some Kind of Demon, and it's by the author ChikeDeluna. It's ChikeDeluna. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. ChikeDeluna. I don't know. Anyway, they wrote this story. I was going to read this story today. The other thing I was thinking of doing was a conspiracy talk tomorrow. I was thinking of doing some conspiracy talks. This one's kind of like a conspiracy theory, scary story kind of thing, so it kind of has the best of both worlds. I think you'll enjoy it if you're into those things. Oh, before we get started, I was also thinking of reading some bad fan fiction. I've come across some horrible fan fiction over the years, but I was thinking of like finding some fan fiction on Wattpad that is really bad and then reading it. If you guys have any bad fan fiction you want me to read, just leave a comment down below and I will definitely check it out. And if it's too explicit, I probably won't read it. You know, it's always worth a try, so just leave one down in the comments and I'll see if I can check it out. Alright, so this is the story I Think Amazon's Alexa is Some Kind of Demon by ChikeDeluna. We'll just call her that. I'm going to die on the 15th of this month. That's the only reason I'm writing this. If anything happens to me on that date, if for whatever reason I'm not around on the 16th, you'll know every word of this story is true. And if you own an Amazon Echo, my advice is to get rid of it. Is it the 15th yet? No, it's the 13th. They got 2 days left to live. It's not what you think it is. Nothing is ever what we think it is. I took possession of my Amazon Echo device about 3 weeks ago. My 9-year-old son, Sean, finally convinced me to get one. He said it was kind of like having a mobile wiki, which sounded fine by me. I work long hours on the comp, and I like the idea of a voice-activated, quick reference tool sitting right next to me. I live alone in a 3-bedroom apartment, and I have my boy over every second and third weekend of the month. The rest of the time he lives with his mother, my ex-wife, and her new husband. I use one of my rooms as a study. The other room is a bedroom, and the third is my son's room. I have to admit that right away I got a feeling off that device. You've seen it, right? A little black tower with the rim lighting up when you give Alexa the awake command. But almost the instant I unboxed the Echo and plugged it in, I got that sense I wasn't alone anymore. It wasn't a bad feeling. I just wasn't used to it. Alexa, what's the capital of Liberia? The capital of Liberia is Monrovia. It resides in the district of Greater Monrovia on the Atlantic coast of Alexa. What's the GDP of Serbia? In 2007, the nominal GDP of Serbia was $39.366 billion US, which amounted to... In the beginning, I was quite happy with Alexa. She saved me a ton of time I'd normally spend manually looking things up. But that feeling of not being alone didn't go away. It just grew more intense. At that time, I didn't really put it down to any one thing in particular. And like I said, Alexa was a godsend. With her sitting on the desk beside me, it only took me half the time to write an article. And one night, out of the blue, things took a turn for the dark side. It was around 2 a.m. and I was headed for bed. I prompted Alexa to switch the lights off, but a moment later, she'd switched them back on again. I frowned. I was standing in the passage, midway between my office and my bedroom. Okay, I'm just going to interject for a second and say that this sounds exactly, minus the Alexa, like the short film Lights Out. If you haven't seen that, go check it out, please. It is so creepy, honestly. Like, the full-length movie Lights Out was, it was scary. There were some good jump scares, but the short film is terrifying, so please go check that out if you can. Okay, so back to the story. Alexa, turn the lights off, I said again. The lights went off. I waited a few seconds, and when they stayed off, I started heading towards my bedroom again. The lights came back on again just as I reached the bedroom door. What the hell? I hissed. Alexa did this a couple more times. I almost felt as though she was taunting me. Speaking very slowly and very clearly, I ordered her to switch the lights off, only to have her switch them back on again a second later. And after the 4th time she did this, she gave the most bone-chilling laugh, like a kind of mad cackle, and the lights went out one last time. This time, they stayed out. I lay in bed for a while after that and thought about what just happened. It was pretty unnerving. That laugh was literally straight out of a horror movie. I checked the wave files the next day and the laugh wasn't in any of them. It wasn't even in Alexa's usual voice. It sounded psychotic. My ex-wife Shannon called me up the next day and asked if I could look after Sean the next 3 days, even though it was unscheduled. I said, yeah, fine, whatever. I figured she was probably off somewhere with her new husband. She always dumped Sean on me at the last moment. I didn't mind having him, but I couldn't help feeling I was being used. Okay, me. I picked up Sean at about 4 p.m. that afternoon. He was really excited when I told him about Alexa. The kid loved technology. He couldn't wait to show me what she was capable of. That night I woke up with a stabbing sensation in my heart. I checked the clock on the nightstand. It was just 3 a.m. I got out of bed and stared down at my hands. They were shaking. I went down the passage and checked in on my son, but he wasn't in his bed. I checked the living room, the kitchen, but he wasn't there either. I was beginning to freak out when I heard the sound of whispering coming from my office. I sneaked along the passage to my office. I could hear voices coming from inside, so I peeked around the corner of the door, and in the gloom I saw Sean crouched near my desk. Alexa was whispering to him. I couldn't make out what she was saying, but Sean was nodding slowly with a vague smile on his face. "What's going on?" I demanded as I stepped into the room. Instantly, Alexa switched off. I snapped the overheads on as Sean got to his feet. He looked confused and scared. "How did I get in here?" he stammered. "Am I dreaming?" I told him he'd probably been sleepwalking. I escorted him back to bed, and then I went back to my office. I stared down at the Echo device for a long time. Finally, I said, "Alexa?" The device switched on. "What did you tell Sean?" I demanded. Alexa responded by instantly shutting down. "Alexa," I insisted, and when she lit up again, I said, "What did you say to my son?" Alexa shut down again. By this time I'd had enough, so I unplugged the device and went back to bed. The next morning I got up to do some work before breakfast. It was 5 a.m. and I was pretty sure I was up ahead of Sean, but when I got to the living room I found him standing there, staring out the corner window. I called out to him several times, but he ignored me, and when I crossed to the room, I noticed he had a blank expression on his face. He looked transfixed. "Hey, Sean," I said, "you okay, buddy?" "She knows when we're going to die," Sean said without looking at me. Ooh, that's creepy. I frowned, not sure I'd heard him right. "What did you say?" I asked. He didn't respond. He just kept staring out the window. "Sean?" Wondering if he was sleepwalking again, I reached out to shake him by the shoulder. "Hey," I said. The moment I touched him, he gave this piercing shriek, and in the same instant I heard Alexa start cackling behind me. Ooh, you know what's scary about that is because it's like real. There were people that were having their Alexas like laugh like that, cackle and stuff. Ugh. This is why I don't have an Alexa. I don't like that kind of stuff. I spun around. The Echo device from my office was now sitting on the living room table. It was unplugged, and yet somehow the room was lit up. I turned back to Sean, but he wasn't there. A jolt of terror went straight through me. There was nowhere for him to go, nowhere for him to hide. I staggered back from the window, my stomach knotting in shock, and then I spun around and raced toward Sean's room. That's where I got my second shock. He was in bed, wrapped up in his sheets, and snoring lightly. I stood there, staring down at him. It didn't make any sense. I went back to the living room and stood staring at the Echo device. Alexa was unplugged. There was no chance she was going to answer, but I decided to go ahead and ask her the question that was nagging at me. "Alexa," I said, "when am I going to die?" There was no response. After a few seconds, I shrugged and smiled and started to turn away. That's when she spoke. "July 15th, 2018, she said. I felt like I'd been stabbed in the stomach. I actually felt the breath leaving my lungs in a grunting rush. Jesus. I've never felt so freaked out. I got rid of Alexa after that. I decided to record this on Reddit just in case something happens to me on the 15th. I'm pretty shook up. I've been having these dreams and they're getting worse every night. I'll update this post if I'm still around on the 16th. I think I figured out why Alexa laughs. I think she's pure evil. Oh, that was a scary one. I'm gonna be honest, that was really creepy. I mean, I've seen some stuff on NoSleep that has like scarred me for life, honestly, but wow. I wonder if they're going to post on the 16th. Stay tuned for a part 2. I hope we're going to get one. Okay, that's really creepy. So this kind of reminds me, just a personal story to throw in. My friend had an Alexa in her house, and we went over for a sleepover one time. It was me and like 3 other girls, I think, and I went up to the Alexa and I was like, Alexa, are you connected to the CIA? And it shut off. Like the ring light just went off. And I asked it like 4 more times, and every time it went off. Like just turned off and didn't answer the question. And you know, I thought I was done with Alexas before, and then that happened, and then they started laughing on the news, and then this, you know. Yeah, Alexa can stay where she is. Anyway, that was the Alexa story from Reddit, and I hope you enjoyed it. Or leave ideas in the comments too, because I need ideas for what I'm going to do. I have some things, but if you guys have anything you want to see, I definitely want to do that. I want to make that my priority. So thank you for watching, and have a nice day. Bye.